Native Raja Krishnamurthy kicked off his Senate campaign in the River City today. The congressman joins Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton and Democratic Congresswoman Robin Kelly in the race for retiring Senator Dick Durbin's seat. Krishnamurthy kicked off his campaign at his childhood home in Peoria to signify his commitment to serving the community that raised him. He was elected to Congress in 2016 and is now in his fourth term representing Chicago's west and northwest suburbs. He says he is focusing on the bipartisan infrastructure law, ending what he described as the tariff chaos, and trying to find common ground between parties.
I don't think it's okay to close the Department of Education or to end birthright citizenship or to freeze federal funding for all programs or cut Social Security or Medicare. Now, where can we work together? I think we can work together, for instance, on economic development issues.
He says in hopes of continuing Senator Durbin's legacy, he would like to keep delivering constituent services across the state, in addition to ensuring the priorities of the office reflect the full state and not just one area.